Here for the latest, south side or the north side, not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams, both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball, but we don't put the wrong strings, yeah. It's that time of the year now, Wrigley or Gantes or the whole league that we hear now. New show with a new mood, discussions and interviews, trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife.
Holy shit, I don't think I've ever been more happy to hear that song. It is very good to be back, folks. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, February 2nd, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Swaski, a.k.a. Southside Zoe, a.k.a. Father Zoe, and with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
Zoe, nothing else to say, but welcome back, and I'm glad to hear that you're not in just pain-numbing, crack your skull open pain.
I mean, that's an extremely accurate description. Worst pain in my life.
Loving the glasses.
I have to do it, man. I didn't do sunglasses but yeah, Doc told me that this will help speed up the recovery process. I think I'd look like a guy that
looks smarter than us.
Fake smart. I don't know what's wrong with his camera, but the good Reverend K Fids.
No, Kevin has glasses.
And he's got an eye patch. God damn it. What's up, Fids?
Single.
What's up?
Oh.
Glad your eyes feeling better. I decided to join in solidarity, and so I actually jabbed myself in the eye with a fork earlier. And here we are. Out? Just want to make sure that I'm a hunk of burning love while I do it. So I drove 20 minutes to get fucking sunglasses for this stupid ass joke. So I'm just gonna wear it now.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
And live from his new digs, I'm gonna make up a new name for you right now, bud. This is Missouri Mitch.
There you go.
What's up, Cattle Report? What's good with the cattle in Missouri?
It's a huge week. Not only, I guess, Missouri Mitch, but NASCAR's back this weekend and Zoe's back. I mean, what's not to like? What a great way to kick off February.
I don't think those two are mutually exclusive, bud. I think I was sitting it out waiting for NASCAR to come back.
Yeah, you know. It's like when like the Stars having their rest game on like they know there's like the big game coming up on the weekend schedules. They're setting this one out. It was load management.
Yep. There you go. Well, we got a great show for you guys today. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about off-season grades, prospects, the 2005 White Sox in video games, booty cheek pitchers list, and cattle reports. Now we're going to leave that one out. Mitch is a little burnt out on cattle reports. For those who don't know, our guy NASCAR Mitch moved down to Missouri. And got a big boy job there doing what are you doing? Play-by-play and
play-by-play, covering their local area sports / Mizzou / the Chiefs. All the Missouri
/ beef.
Oh wait.
Yeah. Well, so like,
are you covering the Chiefs?
So we don't, for our radio station, we don't actually like go cover. We just kind of have to like they send us the stuff and like you read it off. So it's like vaguely covering them.
But still, that's pretty solid. That's pretty good.
It's a big station. They got like 4 different radio stations in the same building, and we broadcast out of all 4. But like when I got the job, so the cattle report thing they're referring to is when I got the job was for doing like radio play-by-play and like sports / news coverage. So like they have like a talk show every Friday that they help host, whatnot. But apparently part of the job is reading like weather and like cattle reports. So like weather I can do. Cattle report's one of those things like, like on everyone's resume, you lie a bit. It's like, well, I can read. And cattle, what do they have to report? This will be easy. Well, it turns out it's not that easy. It's like commodity reports. But so the thing came up for me to read, and I had no idea what it is. It's like feeder cattle futures for July. Like, what the fuck is this? And there's like this big chart. They got all these numbers, like red and green. Like they keep changing on you. And I guess you're only supposed to read like 2 columns of them. I didn't know that. So I'm like reading the thing. I'm like, and I don't know if it's like cattle that died or like the price change. I guess it is the price change. I'm an idiot.
Bessie passed away.
Right. It's like, well, I guess it's cold out. So like hypothetically 1,500.2 cows could have died. So I'm reading this thing, completely butchering it. And then we get like an angry call in like, what the hell was that? I'm tuning in to get my feeder report. And I got this jacket. I don't know what the hell's going on in the market. Yeah, that was me.
This is phenomenal.
But now we know. Now we know how to read a cattle report / farm report / wheat report, commodity report. I guess
if enough people subscribe to the YouTube channel during this show, we will release a clip of Mitch reading cattle reports.
I don't know if that'll help.
Yes. No, I think Mitch, I think you're underestimating the market in Chicago here to hear you reading cattle reports. But
all right, well, I'll do my best to pull up a cattle report for us.
But very excited to be back. Sorry for missing last week, guys. I couldn't even speak. I was in so much pain, but that's neither here nor there. See, people in the comments already saying they need that cattle report, Mitch.
Right,
we got to fire that up. But all that being said, let's tap this keg. As always, the show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you download the app, turn on push notifications so you'll be the first to know the latest Bears trade draft rumor, because there's only 15,000 of them right now, as well as the NBA trade deadlines coming up. So you're going to want to turn on those push notifications. Both Chicago teams should be very busy in the near future. Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com, and also brought to you by Uncle Bud's Sports Bar and Grill, 9700 South Cicero, Aldo. Cicero.
What did I say?
You said Central. You're putting people.
You know why I said
a couple
that?
blocks away. Why?
Do you know why I said that?
Why?
Grew up on South Central in Cicero, Illinois.
Oh, there you go.
It was just in my head. It was just in my head.
But it's
my
on
bad.
Cicero.
My bad.
You're all good. I'm just glad you remembered Uncle Bud's. So they got trivia Tuesdays, they got karaoke, and they got taco Tuesdays. The food is phenomenal. I finally got to sit down and like eat the food, and all sponsors and bullshit aside, the food is fantastic. So go out, try Uncle Bud's, tell them Pinwheel sent you. I don't know if that'll get you anything. We're working on that, but you should still say it because it sounds awesome.
People probably got some money to go to South Central.
Yeah. I mean, 97 South Central. Where's that? I think that's actually a Little League park. Anyways, and also knew that we need to plug that you guys forgot last week, but Fids has been working very hard at putting together this merch store for us. Fids, this is when you model your shirt.
Oh, is this what I'm supposed to? So yeah.
But there is shirts, there's hats, there's baseball tees, there's fanny packs, which are super dope.
We got our faces on the fanny pack. Think about that for a second. Our faces, your crotch. Let's go. Or your navel, really.
If I see anyone in this universe in public wearing that fanny pack out, instantly buying you 3 drinks.
And you could fit like 5 or 6 beers. They're a little bit larger than normal fanny packs too. So like it really is I'm going to go to this tailgate and bring 6 beers of my own choosing kind of thing. So it really does.
Maybe we should get together and try to remarket this as, instead of fanny pack, we'll call it a tailgate bag.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah,
there you
go.
I think that works. Yeah, a satchel. It's a satchel. There's Skittles in there.
P&I satchel.
Yeah, but go check it out. We're going to be tweeting out the link a lot more. It's something that we've been slacking on. You know, our uncles over there at the 108 do a phenomenal job with the merch game, and we're seeing some of those guys like Chicago Sports Bums who are doing a great job with their stuff. And we figured, why not join the party? And we're always open to suggestions. We're working on a NASCAR Mitch shirt. I've actually been getting a weird amount of requests for that. So we'll get
now.
That
maybe
going.
We're gonna need like a cattle report shirt.
I'll send it to that guy that called and bitched about you. But yeah.
How much is the beef? Question mark. And then
that's
how much.
I actually really like that. But like everything on the show, since me and Aldo started doing this show 5 years ago, we're always down for suggestions. Like we've never turned off our DMs or comments or anything, because we're always, if you guys can think of a shirt and you want us to make it, if it doesn't suck, we'll make it. That's simple. And then the last thing I want to mention before we go to Obvious Shirts. They're selling these shirts, and the proceeds are going to Cancer Foundation. This one says "Cancer sucks" with the backwards K. Hashtag Liam Strong. I think it's got Liam's number on the sleeve. But the guys at Obvious Shirts, they do a great job, man. What a great Chicago brand they are. With the Cub stuff, they don't have that much sock stuff, but the sock stuff they do have is pretty good. But you got to appreciate people that go above and beyond to support good causes. last update I saw about Liam Hendricks was he's doing pretty good. So that was always good to hear. But go buy a shirt. They got a bunch of different variations of this shirt. Again, obvious shirts. They're not paying for this ad or anything like that. I just thought it was a really good cause. They're good people. And again, good Chicago brands. So go check them out. All right. I think that's all the business side of things. Whew. That was a lot. Coming out of the gates hot.
You cover the spreadsheet.
I don't want you to get another migraine though.
It's good, dude. I got a lot of pent up talking. I've been sitting here talking to myself.
What's on your mind, Zoe? What's on your mind?
Give you a cluster.
So the biggest thing that's on my mind right now is the White Sox getting an F for their offseason.
Oops.
Big ol' F.
Big ol' F from the Athletic. James Fagan brought the heat, which he always does. I mean, James is in my top 3 Sox beat writers, without a doubt. Like national guys, everyone included. Always like his work, always appreciate his work. But it was interesting to see that list come out, and the only team that got an F was the White Sox. And now, do I think this was a good offseason for the White Sox? Not really, no. Do I think it was a failure? I think that's a little harsh. I think it's a little bit of punching when the team's down a little bit. I'm not trying to let Rick and Kenny and crew off the hook by any means, but I mean, even the Rockies got a D.
Yeah.
The Rockies signed a guy that works at Burger King. Like, at least the White Sox went out and got Benintendi.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know you guys all saw that too. Go ahead, Mitch.
I think it kind of depends on like what you're being graded on. Where the Rockies are not expected to contend, they're in a tough division, so like they're not really going out to sign anyone. The White Sox, after a disappointing year where you're 500, you're expected to get better during the offseason, like at the bare minimum. And I don't think you can make an argument that they did, because you lose your best hitter in Abreu, and Benintendi was a nice pickup. Don't get me wrong. But there's still a lot of questions in the power department, just as the team as a whole. You're relying a lot on guys staying healthy. And the starting rotation now with the Clevenger thing, it's kind of back to where it was last year. That didn't improve at all. And even if you take out the Clevenger accusations, and I didn't hate the signing at the time. Like I thought, outside. But there was still a gamble. Like he was still a gamble. As a guy 2 years removed from Tommy John, coming off a really bad year. So that by no means was some slam dunk signing. Second base still hasn't been addressed. And, we see by all these supplemental minor leaguers they're signing that they're going to roll with Rami Gonzalez and Lenny Sosa. So it's kind of, F is a little harsh, but they're expected to get better. And quite frankly, they didn't. Like you could argue they're almost worse off heading into this year than they were last offseason.
Do you guys think that the F was also just kind of a little bit more of a knee-jerk bias too, because of the Clevenger issue into itself is an off-season distraction that the White Sox that almost basically kicks off a season with negativity and question marks for the White Sox and obviously the fan base too. Is that another reason why that F was just so prominent?
I think
is it possible that kind of like drove that down to an F when it probably is? You could call it a C at least. I mean, I don't think it's an F.
I think that played into it, Fids. I think a big part of the F, though, is what Mitch is touching on. I think it's because of where they're at in this whole window that everyone likes to talk about and how they, like, this is your chance to go for it, and they did nothing. Well, they didn't do nothing, but and they lost Jose Abreu. That's a huge, huge loss. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat that.
Does it play into that as well, too, to see, like, Josh Harrison signing for, like, was it like $4 million only? And
that doesn't bother me. I'm good.
Brought him back for depth as well for pretty much nothing.
Kind of. I mean, like the Gene Segura thing pissed me off because that was like $14 million. And then the next best guy in terms of WAR was Josh Harrison. So I was fine initially when they let him go because I'm like assuming, okay, we're gonna try and upgrade, which they didn't. And also, not only are they going with the unproven guys at second base, as good as we think Oscar Colas is going to be, and I know B-Flow has him as rookie of the year. I'm high on him too. Like he looked good last year, but it's still asking a lot of a guy that was playing his first season in North America last year to come in on a contending team and expect to carry a big load offensively. So they really didn't do anything. I would have been happier had they even picked up some depth pieces in right field. Like Victor Reyes and Billy Hamilton aren't going to cut it. It's not enough. if have a backup plan if Colas goes through growing pains, which I expect he will. I mean, it's only fair.
Hold on.
I have to point out, by the way, you've used load in 2 different manners tonight already on the show, and so I'm glad we have something to catch that load here.
There you go.
Here, but
sorry, that was like the White Sox rally towel back in for Game 3.
First of all, Mitch, the White Sox have a top 10 left fielder in Eloy Jimenez, according to
that's true.
So,
Mitch.
And he's working hard on his defense. I did forget about.
He's about to be a top 10 right fielder.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much I buy into they didn't know any of this Clevenger stuff before they signed. Because if they didn't know anything, then they're just really bad at their jobs. Like, not one thing you didn't know, like a hinting suspicion. And then the other fact that second base is still a gaping black hole, that is a failure. That is a massive failure. That second place was not. And Gene Segura
sucked last year. It's not like he showed flashes of potential. He was ass at the plate. Like, I'm sorry. He hustled great, but
No, I get that, man. And I don't know. It's just
like that's the thing. Like they could like as a White Sox fan heading into the offseason, like forget like not even just like a Josh Harrison type. Like not even just bringing back Josh Harrison. But if it was just like someone to that caliber, you would have been like, all right, they kind of gotten someone who has had some sort of success in the past. Maybe he could kind of do it again. And if not, then you go to like the internal options. But they haven't done that. And Mitch has written about how these other recent minor league signings kind of point to that they're going to go with Gonzalez and Sosa. So that's that other part. And then going back to I agree with you guys. Like the F, that was a little harsh from James. But then you kind of take a step back and like they had 2 big moves. And right now you're only counting on 1 to play. Because like Clevenger at this point is kind of a wait and see where that goes.
Yeah.
So it's like you had two legitimate MLB signings, and you're really only going to count on 1 of those guys. So yeah, that's really bad when you're supposed to be when a year ago you were one of the World Series favorites. You had a disappointing season, and like I think Minch said, I think you can maybe make the argument you got worse, not better.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's all fair. And I guess now that we're talking it out more, the F doesn't seem so far-fetched.
I would put him like a D minus.
It's harsh, but James had valid reasons for why it was an F. It was warranted because they're being graded on a different scale than a lot.
Guys, I got to pause for a second because this is why our listeners are the greatest people in the world. This was just sent to me.
That might be why.
Dear Lord.
Evan, put that on a shirt. Put that.
I need. Please, somebody send me that original artwork. That'll be on a shirt. That'll be on a shirt by the time we're like.
That is courtesy of our guy, Lil Yumper.
Shout out Yumper.
The fact that you did that fast too, I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. Fizz, I'm sending it to you now.
Absolutely. He's probably got the original like on his.
Mitch, do we have your consent to put that on a shirt?
Fire it off. I don't know how well that thing's gonna sell, but
Mitch has like the best like cult following out of all like any of us.
Without a doubt, the NASCAR Mitch and now
NASCAR Mitch, now the cattle Mitch.
That is unbelievable. But
Missouri Mitch.
Yeah, I mean, I guess talking it out now, I was of the mindset coming into the show that they were like a D plus because like I really like the Benintendi signing. I really do. It makes me nervous that they've signed 100 minor league second basemen because that shows to me too that they have little to no confidence in what they have, but they're unwilling to go get Gene Segura for $14 million. And then the other thing I'm seeing a lot of people are because Elvis is still available.
Still out there.
But then we get into the whole Puig, what we said about him, there's a reason why he's still out there. You know what I mean? It's just
Puig is
well, I know, but I'm just saying like
there's a reason why they're not signed yet. Yeah.
Yes. If you were really as good as people are trying to build you up, then yeah. And I mean,
and it's not like that's like a huge market either. Because like I mean, there's like some left-handed relievers, like our guy Andrew Chafin, pretty solid reliever. He's still not signed, but that's a different situation where like, teams are still trying to go cheap for relievers. Like a second baseman at this point is still going to be cheap for you. It's just the Sox aren't giving any indication that they're willing to even do that.
And I think we've reached the point of the offseason now, especially now that we're in February and there's going to actually be actual baseball this month. Yay. Where teams are like, all right, we're going to chill to see what happens in camp. Like someone gets hurt, Chafin's going to be the first one signed. You know what I mean? Like we've reached that. But I really just, in my heart of hearts, got to think that they're still trying to find a second baseman. I mean, for Christ's sake, the Marlins have 8 second basemen. Like, you can't figure out a trade for one of them.
I mean, hey, that's what Rick Hahn said back in November, that their biggest moves probably were going to come via trade. Still waiting. It could still happen.
That's true. Maybe. I mean, all the way up to like spring training. I mean, things happen.
They still do have time. I mean, again, no one's going to want to hear that at this point because it has been 3 months.
Trade with you though. Even the rumored trade for Nicky Lopez, and I said my piece on that last week. I'm not going to get started again. But the Royals don't even want to trade. Like there's they kind of want to hold on. So it's fine and well that you want to go make trades as your moves, but you don't really have anyone to trade, and there's not a whole lot of teams willing to trade with you. So that's kind of a flawed plan.
Yeah, I don't think people are lining up right now to help the White Sox out. Yeah. I mean, there's blood in the water, especially with this whole Clevenger shit lingering, and everyone. The White Sox have zero leverage in a trade for a second baseman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like anyone that's watched a lick of baseball knows that the White Sox desperately need a second baseman. So if they do trade for one, they're going to have to overpay. They have no leverage in negotiations. None.
And they're in that weird spot too, where hey, they do have a fucking stud, Kevin's guy, Colson Montgomery down the minors, but there's no way in hell you're trading him. Or are you?
Are you bringing him up too soon for him to have to play second?
There's no way that you do that.
No.
I mean, I never say never, but it would have to be one hell of a return.
Yep. It'd have to be elite.
I think that's the other question. Do you think the Sox are one player away?
No, that's the thing. I don't.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way you have to look at it. And I mean, it is what it is, and The Athletic is a very respected, sports publication. They got to where they're at real quickly, but they got to where they're at by hiring a lot of well-respected national journalists. And you got to think that's one of the things. Like, if I write something and say the White Sox got an F, there's a 0.6% chance someone in the White Sox front office sees that. The Athletic does it. Someone saw that.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Somebody saw that. And I don't care what they say or what they do. If someone did a tech salesman rankings and I was the only tech salesman to get an F, I don't care how much I try to play it off, that would hurt. That would sting. You know what I mean? There's got to be a moment where one of them are sitting back being like, the fuck am I doing?
Right. Well, and to build off that too, he's making his living making contacts with the team. He has to go into all this press conference covering them. So he's got a lot more to lose by pissing people off. And still, even with all that, was yeah, no, it's enough.
Right. So
good for him.
I don't know.
Give him the business, didn't he?
Mitch, how would Rick Hahn respond to getting an F for the offseason? What would you say to James the first time you see him down in Scottsdale or Glendale?
The projectables I think is a little bit better than an F. We foresee Andrew Benintendi in his tight white pants. We've had our eye on him for a while. I think he's hitting at least 300, probably 10 home runs. And Pedro's our guy. He's been reading the scouting reports, and I think we're going to have a very solid team. We might surprise some of these pesky beat writers.
I could see him going up to James, trying to be buddy with him and being like, "Oh, you really busting my chops there, James." Oh, you got me good there, pal.
Meanwhile, Kenny Williams is sitting.
Awkward.
Kenny Williams in a golf cart, just staring him down from across the field.
Congratulations to Kenny Williams Jr. by the way on being hired.
That's right.
That's how I hired Kenny Williams Jr.
Player development, right? Player development, guy.
Yep.
Not
So
even at all.
I mean, it's the Chicago way. It's just what it is in this city. My daddy does this. But what did the Cubs get on it? Cubs got a B, right?
B, solid B.
Yeah,
That's a
They copied me. That's what I gave him. I gave him a B.
I think a B. I think a B is very spot on for what the Cubs did this offseason.
I felt B minus was probably about where
Yeah,
because they lost. You got to understand what they lost. I mean, they legitimately did all this. They got a B in this offseason, and yet they're actually not projected to win any more games this year than they won last year based on the whatever.
Oh shit. Kevin giving us a segue.
Yeah.
So let's get into that. The over and unders came. The initial over unders came out. So get ready to clip this, future us. Start with the Cubs. Although, what was that number?
DraftKings 77.5.
And what did they win last year?
Last year they went 74 and 88.
Go ahead, Mitch.
For what? I know.
Cubs. Cubs win total 77.5.
In that division, just over. I think I'll give them the over.
Okay. Kevin.
I mean, I said it today. I think 78 wins is fair. So, I mean, I guess I would say over, but it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be real close. But it is. They are 6.
Props to him too, by the way, because he had the line right on the head. We were trying to guess what the line
Kevin.
would be last week, and Bids knows a bookie or someone in Vegas because he nailed it.
I am the bookie.
I don't know what happened to the Orioles one, but you did get the.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to say this anymore because it was a terrible thing. But I'm drinking the Cubs Kool-Aid. Over. There again. I just go back to. And yes, people are saying like, hey, maybe they overachieved in the second half. They played shitty teams. True.
They're going to play those shitty teams again this year.
But not with
a little less.
The schedule, they don't get to beat up on the Reds and the Pirates this year.
But they get to play the Royals and Tigers more. So I did the math. They're going to play their division rivals 6 less times.
6.
So that means 6 less against the Cardinals, 6 less against the Brewers. Pirates, Reds. Anyways, I just think back to the 2022 team, Kevin. I mean, the Cubs had Frank Schwindel at first base for half the season. Mm-hmm. Alfonso Rivas. They had PJ Higgins playing a lot, or not a lot, but he had a decent amount of playing time at catcher at first base. Jonathan Villar, our guy, who we thought was going to supplant Patrick Wisdom, he was god awful after like a week. There was so much bad that the Cubs had in 2022. Almost everyone in the starting rotation was injured in the first half, except for Justin Steele, I think. And yeah, a lot of it does have to do with like if the pitchers stay healthy. But I just look at this roster. It's like why can't they win 78 games?
Right.
Like that's not anything crazy. Like I'm not going to be here and be like, "Oh, the Cubs they should be viewed as 85, 86 win team." No. Like I think that's like a lot of things have to go right, but I think some things could go wrong. Some guys could have like better years. Like Seiya Suzuki, I think he proved that he can make in-season adjustments, and I'm hoping that this year he's not injured for a month. So if you get a full year of Seiya Suzuki, that's good. Cody Bellinger. I know, Kevin, you're a believer in Cody Bellinger's resurgence this year. That would be a massive upgrade at center field over like Michael Hermosillo, Rafael Ortega, who I still
and not
want traded to the White Sox.
The defensive upgrade.
Yeah, just the defense alone is going to be better. I mean, yeah, like.
So you're going over.
I'm going over. It has to be, right?
I think.
I mean, they're so good at this shit, though. Like, it's maddening. We're going to, like, in about a year, we're going to go, how did they do that? Like, it'll be like 77 or 78. Like,
they're going to be like, in final weekend of the season, they're going to be like at 76 games, wins, and they're going to need to win 2 out of the last 3.
I think they're an 80. I think they're an 81 team.
There you go.
I think they're an 81 team.
Apparently, the internet in Missouri sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, just like everything else in Missouri.
I think a cow a cow ate Mitch's internet connection.
Is that angry radio caller?
What? Oh shit! Mitch is probably getting
Put the power off. Oh no.
What was the White Sox number, Aldo?
And then the White Sox at 83.5.
83.
Darla.
Shout out.
Yeah, the score listeners will get that part. I'll go first with the White Sox, and I'm going to go over. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to go over. As much as we talk about Fs for off-season grades and shit shows and all this other stuff, the White Sox had a lot of bad years last year. Like a lot of players had bad years last year. TA was hurt, Robert was hurt, Moncada was hurt, Grandal was hurt, and all had down years. I mean, I don't see how that many players can have another down year in a row. I really just don't see it. And I think their pitching is good enough to get them there. I think it's an 85, 86 win team. Will that be good enough to win the division? I don't know. But with the new schedule, you got to take that into account. You also have to take into account that there's no shift this year.
Yep.
I don't think that's being talked about as much as it should be. I know some people are downplaying it, like, oh, it's not going to make that much of a difference. It really is, though. It's going to make a big difference, especially for guys like Bellinger and like.
I'm kind of in the middle of that, though.
Okay.
Because you can, you know why? No, but I will believe it. I need to see it because
I agree that. I mean,
you can still shift. It's just that you can't have like the three guys on one side.
And the other thing, though, that's going to be a little bit different is the pitch clock.
Yes, that's something that no one's talking about.
And that's gonna,
off moves,
change momentum. That's gonna be all that stuff. Mitch, you get done fighting the farmer.
I fighting the internet out here. Jesus. Well, my modem hasn't arrived yet from Spectrum, so that's.
So what are you going off of?
Oh, my phone has data, so I have that connected to the laptop. So,
all right, folks, we need you guys to buy stuff from the merch store. So Mitch's data is going to be like $100,000.
See what I do for the show.
But I for all those reasons, though, I really think the White Sox are going to overperform what people think. I'm going to take the over on the White Sox wins. I'll actually put real money on that too.
What was the number?
83.5.
I got them at like 85 wins.
I think 86, 87 was what I was going to say.
I mean, the pitching is that good, even without Clevenger. I think they'll be able to figure out that fifth starter. I think I'm still weirdly, and I can't shake it. I try not to, but I can't shake thinking that the White Sox are going to be better this year.
I'm with you, Zoe, because all the things that you said, all the guys that you listed who were injured and or had down seasons.
Yeah.
And they still won 81 games in 2022.
Right. But
everything
like you said, though, although they're not going to play the Royals 12 times this year.
That's true.
They're not going to play.
Well, we
the
played
Tigers
terribly against the Royals, so that's
that's
actually
that's
they did suck against their own division. But I think the pitching's good enough. I think the bullpen's good enough. Hopefully, obviously Liam getting better is top priority, but hopefully he can play this year. I think they're going to be better, and I don't know why. I wish I could shake it. I wish I could be like 95% of the White Sox Twitter right now that think they're just going to be absolute shit. But
even if half the guys are still bad, but the other half get back to not even career years, but just like aren't dog shit again. Like they have to be better, right? That's my whole thing again. It's just like everything that could have gone wrong basically went wrong.
My biggest thing is if they're going to have off year, I don't think all of them are going to be shitty at the same time again.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like maybe Robert comes out of the gate slow, but Moncada comes out of the gate hot. You know what I mean? Like I think it's going to balance itself out because they have enough guys. Like this team, if you look at this lineup top to bottom, I know we dwell on second base and we dwell on right field, but the rest of the positions, you got a solid guy at pretty much every position there. And I really think Yasmani Grandal is going to have well, he can't have a worse year. So,
I mean, you can.
I'm going to surprise people. I think he'll be healthier. He's got a new workout program. I'm buying the propaganda there. I think he's going to be healthy. Yeah, like that. That one I do believe.
So, Mitch, where are you? You're on the over. You just said you think they're 86, 87 wins. What about the Cubs fans? What do you guys think about the White Sox win total?
I'm with you. Over.
Okay.
Yeah, over.
It's just like like you said, like they have, and I know that the Sox fans who are down on the team will say, "Well, yeah, on paper they were supposed to be really good last year, but like 2 years in a row, it can't happen 2 years. I mean, it could,
I'll be right back, fellas.
it could, but every single guy, like let's say Yasmani Grandal is cooked. Let's say the knees are just dead. He's bad. It's like, all right, fine. You got a negative at catcher because then you have Sebi Zavala as the backup, and maybe he can be like average. But like, could you guys imagine like Yoan Moncada, Luis Robert, Eloy, TA, like all four of them at the same time again, all being injured again?
No, I mean,
like that was just really bad luck.
Yeah, I would agree with you had they've not been injury bit like the past 2 years. Like if 2022 is supposed to be the year. All right, there's no injuries. We're gonna be good. And then not only did we have injuries, it was worse than 2021. So I'm not as optimistic. I mean, like I would think they can't all be injured once again, and they can't all be as bad as they were last year. So that's why I'm optimistic. I still do stand by the fact, like on paper, this roster is not as good as it was heading into last season. But if they can't stay healthy, they will win more games. There's still a lot of talent on this team, so I think the over is a pretty safe bet. Hey, like you said, like everything went wrong. They had the wrong, like they have a better manager in place. I think objectively, Pedro Grifol is going to be a better manager. They're going to be they're going to be a lot more prepared, and they did improve on the defensive end. So for all those reasons, it can't be.
Before Kevin steps in, this probably makes no sense at all, but I have no clue why I have more confidence in the offense being better than the starting pitching. Like, I don't know, Lance, I know, Zoe, you love Lance Lynn.
I do.
But, like, I don't know.
So one thing about Lance Lynn people got to remember is he didn't have a preseason last year.
Right.
He didn't have a spring training last year. And so he's doing the World Baseball Classic, which I think is great. When you get older, it takes a little bit longer to get that rust off. So I know, Mitch, we don't see eye to eye with the World Baseball Classic, but
I mean, the rust thing's real though, because I remember his first spring training with the Sox. He was like pissed because he couldn't go 5 innings into one game. He loves throwing. He has to throw every day. So I mean, for that is fair.
And he noticeably got better last year as the season went on, because he said, I forgot which month in the middle of the season, he's like, that was basically my spring training.
Yeah. I do have to say, like, and you brought up how Lynn didn't have like a normal offseason. And like this is like the first time in like a few years that any of these guys have had a normal offseason.
Right.
So maybe the injury concerns with like a Kopech or whatever happened to Giolito last year, and then Lynn, maybe they do bounce back and finally have a normal offseason.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Like, you have Kopech going into a season. I know they said he's not where he's at in his whatever, but like he has a full offseason and a regular spring training to ease his way back into the season. Lynn has a regular offseason. Grandal has a regular offseason. Robert has Moncada, Anderson, all these guys coming off of these little injuries, whatever, can get back into a normal flow of things and have a normal offseason. And I mean, a lot of these White Sox players are all playing in the World Baseball Classic. TA, Moncada, Robert, Eloy, Lynn. I think that's it, but those are significant names. Yeah. And I'm all for that, especially because a lot of them aren't starters for their respective team. A lot of them are bench bats, which is great though. Get them in a competitive, whatever, and just kind of like the NBA All-Star game too. This is how my brain works, but you know how everyone says the NBA All-Star game is like the biggest recruitment weekend for NBA teams, because players tell, maybe TA goes out there for Team USA and starts telling some of these guys or whatever, Moncada, Robert, they start telling these guys, like, it's not bad here. Like, I know what media says, but like, we got a great locker room going and like all this shit, So
I don't know. Side, Tim,
yeah, that's true.
Like, get me out of here.
Yeah,
it was a shit show. That's what I was thinking the whole time. If the locker room is as bad as everything indicated,
it could be the other way for sure. I mean, but I don't know. And I'm going to give Pedro the benefit of the doubt until he proves me wrong or makes me think otherwise. We'll see what he can do. There's, you know, I saw Yumper said in the comments too. There's a lot of ifs there's a lot of ifs for the White Sox this year. You know, more than I think usual. So that's why.
You know what though? That analytics nerd we got was good. I noticed Fegan didn't put that into the grading thing, so I think that'll help in the long run.
That might have got him an F plus.
Yeah, F an F plus.
Yeah, now it's an F plus. But
well, I wanted to ask you guys about the whole. With the restarted rotation of the Clevenger situation, do you think they're going to sign another starting pitcher, or
I don't. I honestly I haven't even looked at who's still out there.
Just all old guys.
They got the guy. They got AJ Alexi. He's with Lambert and probably Jonathan Stever, and it's going to be one of them. Or
isn't Dylan Bundy still out there?
He is.
Bundy's not good, though.
I know, but I feel like that's a White Sox guy.
That's
Beefloaf's guy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the other guy who's like the only like good option is Michael Wacha.
Oh yeah.
I would take a Waka.
I don't know how much money it would be, but yeah, I think he's like the best free agent pitcher out there.
They're gonna go.
What's his name? Greinke went back with the Royals, and he was the other. They're like, maybe.
They're gonna go out and sign Andrew Chafin because Rick Hahn loves signing relievers, and everyone's gonna be like, "What the hell, Rick?" Oh, we had extra money. You guys said to spend.
Yeah. I'd like to pause here before we move on. Subscribe to the channel. And I know the people that watch this live, you've already subscribed, but like, go tell your friends to subscribe. If you're at a family function, grab people's phones and start subscribing. If you're at the bar, start subscribing. And like Fid said in the tweet too, I know they're White Sox tickets, but if you're a Cubs fan and you subscribe and you win, we'll figure something out. I can't guarantee that those good at tickets, but we'll get you tickets to a Cubs game. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sure we'll be happy to chip in.
We've been doing this whole
good tickets. We'll scalp them and use that money for your Cubs tickets.
in Bleacher Jeff's seat.
Get Trey Mancini.
There you go.
But the Trey Mancini in action. You can't beat that.
Subscribe, guys. Help us out a little bit. We're calling action here. Subscribe, and if you're a Spotify or an Apple Podcast listener, you know, we love you too, but real quick, just log on to YouTube real quick and just subscribe to the show. You don't have to watch it, just subscribe. And you don't have to turn on the notification, just subscribe. Subscribe. We got a cool new merch store. We'll throw in some merch for the winter too.
Bam.
And if you'll give me about 30 seconds,
the Mitch shirt's going to be live.
Yeah, give me about
I can see your screen reflection in your glasses. I've known you've been working on this since I sent you the picture.
So we're gonna get this thing rocked out, and then I'm gonna show you guys. We'll give you a tour of our actual Etsy page. It's not just for arts and crafts, by the way.
So before we do that, though, Fids, while you're finishing up, we need to talk about this. This is getting out of hand. This is getting nuts to me. This is the list that MLB Network just came out with for their top 10 starting pitchers. And for those of you that aren't watching, the list goes as follows. Number 1's Corbin Burns, no problem with that. Then Verlander, Carlos Rodon, Scherzer, Alcantara, Ohtani, Fried, Wheeler, DeGrom, Urias. You guys notice any certain pitchers that aren't on this list?
Jake Arrieta. Fucking bullshit. Yeah, Justin Steele.
Maybe a guy who was top 3 in the Cy Young running for the American League that
guy for the Dodgers
that absolutely shoved for the White Sox this year.
Dylan
Cease gets he doesn't have it anymore. Dylan Cease gets absolutely no respect nationally on the baseball. And it's I mean, I think he's fine with it. I honestly don't think any major league player is like, oh shit, I'm not on that list. But this is just getting out of hand. I'm taking Cease over Fried. I'm taking Cease over Wheeler. I'm taking Cease over Urias. I think Sandy Alcantara, who just won the fucking Cy Young, being at number 5 is a joke. I think Rodon's too high on this list. This list sucks.
It does suck.
This list sucks.
Cease keeps getting screwed. I mean, how did he not make first team? The All MLB. Like, that baffled me to begin with. The no All-Star thing was ridiculous. I mean, he consistently gets screwed over. But good for Cease, though, because he's a big yoga man, so he's all zen. It doesn't bother him. But
he's all zen.
You guys have heard me use the term cheeks a lot. This is the definition of cheeks. This list is fucking cheeks. This list is just brutal. Garrett Cole's not even on this list.
Yeah,
Max Fried made this list over Garrett Cole. Like that's it is Fried, but I'm calling it Fried because he sucks. No, he's actually not bad, but he's not number 7 in the league right now.
Dylan Cease either.
No.
Did he write a poem about his slider? I don't think so. Did he have a cool Freddie Mercury mustache? No.
Is there any sense of like when you look and you see the number 3 name on that list?
I think he's too high. I think pitching for the Yankees, he's gonna. I bet you. I'll bet someone right now that Rodon's not on this list next year.
I honestly, it doesn't hurt that much because when he was a free agent, as good as he was, I was fine with letting him walk because Boris Client, he's going to get paid a lot. He had the checkered injury history. So I wasn't about to pour a ton of money to bring him back when there was so many question marks. So that one I could understand. Would I have liked for them to bring him back? Yes, but I can understand why they let him walk. Like I didn't think that was necessarily a dumb decision on their end, but good for him. I'm happy for him actually. Like I'm glad it worked out for him because put a lot of time in with the Sox organization. So good for him.
Yeah,
that's a good point, Mitch. And as in celebration of such a wonderful point, I'd like to share with you the NASCAR Mitch Cattle Report unisex heavy cotton tee presented by the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. If you want to look a little closer, I mean, look at that. Look at that. Oh, just it's on your chest.
I'm going to tell you, don't wait.
It looks great
it even looks good on your girl. Valentine's Day is coming up.
It matches your arm tattoos.
There we go.
And it comes in all sorts of different colors. I mean, if you're like, hey, I'd like to try perhaps the I don't know. Let's look for the colors. Let's go with you want to do it's St. Patrick's Day. You want to showcase that you have cattle knowledge around the neighborhood. You can do that as well. And I don't know why it's not showing up. It usually shows up. But there's that. With that said, also, so you guys can see this. This is the whole Pinwheels and Ivy shop so far, but we're going to be continuing to add.
Look at that. Look at that tailgate satchel.
That fanny pack satchel.
Yeah,
I mean, look how large.
6-pack satchel.
That thing's
1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, 4 beers, 5 beers. You are set for like a tailgate.
Rename it, Kevin. The 6-pack satchel.
6-pack satchel. Got to change the name. All right.
Joe's going to be rocking when he's watching the Coca-Cola 600 this year.
Hell yeah.
My 6-pack satchel.
So Zoe can get drunk and order one of our own hats.
Gonna happen soon.
We got the hoodie. This comes in multiple colors. I actually
I like that it's zip up with the logo in the front.
Yeah, and on the back you got the big old pennies, but you got the gray. You can get white. You can get the other gray. I don't know.
It's good quality material, folks.
Yeah, it's a little
bye.
The 3/4 shirt, like what I'm wearing right now. This is actually the one that I've got on right there.
And right now, 5% of all proceeds go to getting Mitch internet.
Yeah. And then just the regular run-of-the-mill P&I shirts.
Yeah.
Cubs color.
Logo. And again,
Bears color.
If you have suggestions or anything you want to, look at Yumper sent us that picture. It was a shirt and
here it is.
30.
That's a damn good looking shirt. I must say.
If you're not getting that for people for Valentine's Day.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're not getting a girl that for
Valentine's, I don't know why she would be, but yeah, that's what she's getting.
My favorite part is your headset looks like Amish like sideburns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's easily the best part. But yeah, shoot us suggestions. But we're gonna continue to add to the store. It's gonna be good stuff. But yeah, go check it out.
Our Twitter account has the link, I believe, in the bio now.
And I have the link in my bio. Like, yeah, go and buy that shit.
By the way, there's another pitcher on that list who wasn't on that list. What about Framber Valdez from the Astros?
This list sucks, dude.
Yeah.
This list is just shit.
All these lists. So this is like from MLB Network. And
Yeah.
I was talking to Zoe about this right before we started to record. All these fucking lists. Like we've been joking about how they had Eloy top 10 left fielder. They're just similar to like the Hall of Fame talk now.
Yeah.
Everything's
That's
just
fair.
crap.
Yep.
No wonder YouTube TV dumped their ass.
Exactly. Shout out
Probably
YouTube.
this list.
What horrible timing for MLB Network for that to happen. Literally right before spring training.
Right before.
And I'm a YouTube TV guy. Like, I know a lot of people that are YouTube TV people. I think it's the best cut the cord option right now. And to get dropped by that's brutal. Are you going to be able to watch Sox games in Missouri, Mitch? Is it black? It's not blacked out
as of right now, because whenever they ask, like for a Bulls game the other night, I just said I was on vacation, so it let me watch the NBC Sports Chicago. So I'm just gonna keep doing that until it stopped.
Well, you just told on yourself.
Oh.
So yep.
Yeah, that's true. Well, hopefully no one from Spectrum's or YouTube TV's list.
Jerry's gonna cut off your access now.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. After that scathing review of their offseason.
Yep.
Those terrible impressions. I'm kind of screwed.
So the next thing that we wanted to talk about, though, is there's a lot of, speaking of list, if you will, there's a lot of prospect lists coming out. A lot of prospect lists coming out. And then did they do it today? Was it ESPN?
The ESPN
list?
One? Yes, on
yeah.
Wednesday.
So on Wednesday, ESPN came out with their own top 100 prospect list. It's a lot different than the MLB one. That is for sure. And the biggest difference to Sox fans is Oscar Colas just isn't on it.
He wasn't even mentioned. He wasn't even in the honorable mentions either.
No, he's nowhere to be found. Like, if you do Control F5 on that page, type in
where's
Colas,
Oscar?
no results. And then our friend of the show, Josh Nelson over at Sox Machine, he tweeted out, he's talking to people that scout prospects for a living, and they're all not very high on Oscar Colas. Now
he also wasn't on Keith Laws in the Athletic, and he wasn't in his top 100 either.
No. So I've said it on the show probably for the last 2 months now. I think Oscar Colas is going to be good. I don't think he's going to be as good as people want him to, or expecting him to be.
I was going to ask you guys, what are Zoe and Mitch, what are your expectations for Colas this year?
I'll take it, Mitch, while you try to put some tinfoil on that. So a lot of it depends on. Hopefully, the White Sox don't get cute. He needs to be. If he's the guy, he needs to be the guy opening day. Okay, he doesn't need to sit in AAA hitting 400, and then a month into it, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So I need at least 20 home runs out of him. I know this is going to be a lot. I get that's a lot. But that's his game. He's a power hitter. You know what I mean? He instantly has already improved the defense in right field.
Mm-hmm.
Before he even takes one fly ball in the major leagues, he's already better than anything they put in right field last year. Okay, so we got that. I mean, what do I expect? Or wait, so what's the question? I'm sorry. What do I need him to be? What do I expect him to be?
Yes, what for his rookie season? What do you? Not what you think the Sox think, but what are your expectations? So you already mentioned you want 20 home runs from him. So the defense, I think, at the floor is just he's going to be average.
The bar is very, very low for defense for him. I mean, if he can catch fly balls competently and have a decent arm, he's an improvement in right field. Now, what I need from the White Sox is for them to not be depending on this 25-year-old rookie to be the best hitter in the lineup.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I need him to be batting seventh, getting his sea legs, if you will, for the first couple months of the season. And if he strives and thrives and all those other fun words, and you can move him up in the lineup, great. That's awesome. But if he's batting, 195, batting seventh, then it doesn't hurt as bad. You know what I mean? But the bar is really, really low for him in right field. So,
maybe
he's got a good arm.
He does.
He showed during the future and he plays some good defense. I'm only expecting like 15 home runs. He's probably going to hit around like 240. Is what I honestly what I'm expecting.
That's a win for me. That if he's hitting 240, that's a win for me.
Okay, follow-up question. Because I think he's going to be better than this, at least defensively. If he puts up 2021 Andrew Vaughn numbers, are you content? Or are you like, fuck, I want more? Or are you like, all right, that's fine.
Remind me what those numbers were.
So Vaughn in 2021, he played in 127 games, 469 plate appearances, 15 home runs. He had a slash of 235, 309, 396. So the slugging was low.
Yeah,
WRC plus of 93. So he was a below average hitter.
So I think they're two different. Vaughn, when I think of Andrew Vaughn, I think of like more of a on base guy, like double singles with the occasional pop. What I'm expecting, and I could be wrong because I don't watch all of his plate appearances or whatever, but Oscar Colas is just meat to me. Like he's a home run guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he's gonna hit. So that's why I said 20 home runs. It's made me nervous from the get-go how much people are leaning and expecting out of this rookie. I mean, granted, he's 25, and yes, he smashed the ball all over fucking the minor leagues at all levels last year, but we all know that that's not the same.
Yeah.
And major league pitchers, there's going to be a part of this season, probably in like June, when major league pitchers have figured him out, and now he has to work how to figure out them figuring him out.
Yeah.
2 steps forward, 1 step back.
You know what I mean?
Forward, 1 step back.
Yeah.
That's
and
the rookie experience.
He's going to see a slump, but I think he also has going for him, though, having a guy like Luis Robert on the team who had the same type of expectations coming in and knows how to deal with, I mean, the White Sox, when I say Chicago media, the White Sox media is not even that rough, but Oscar likes his social media. I know he's not on Twitter, but he's all over Instagram. Like he's going to have to learn how to block that shit out when he's in a slump. And he definitely seems like the type of guy too, that he's been the best player on any team he's ever played on. And he's going to have to learn that that's not going to be the case this year. And there's a lot of things that go into this. It's not as cut and dry as going up to the plate and just smashing baseballs. There's a lot of factors that go into this, but if he could put up those Andrew Vaughn numbers with a little bit of higher in the slugging percentage, and I'd like that OBP a little bit higher, that's a win for me.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a win for me.
Fair. Now, on the other side, what do you think the Sox are going to do with him in terms of opening day? Do you think he's going to be the starting right fielder opening day?
He should be, which means they won't.
What do you think?
I don't know if he really should be. I would not be opposed to another month or so of him getting some seasoning in Charlotte. Because as we know, Chicago hitting there in April, not that fun. He doesn't have a whole lot of AAA at-bats under his belt. Now, would I be pissed if he was the starting right fielder? No, I'd prefer if he was the starting right fielder. But, like, it would make sense to me if he got a month or so in AAA before they brought him up, just to make sure he was ready. Like, I'd have no problem with that.
I'd be disappointed if that happened. I think he's 25. He's either your guy or he isn't.
Now, I'm not
I think that's actually really fair.
Yeah, the age. But the other thing is, I don't think he hasn't really played in the minors that much, right?
No, basically his first year was last year, and he jumped up 3 levels.
Yeah.
Especially if there is a lot of question marks, and as you said, there's a lot of scouts that aren't that high on him. Would getting some extra time in the minors to get, hammer out any kinks really be the worst thing?
I just feel like it's a waste of time. I feel like just let him figure it out at the major league level in May.
What about this scenario? And I think because Kevin, I think you're with Zoe on this one with Colas. I'm not a huge like spring trading matters guy, but let's say he plays 20 games during spring training. He just looks bad at the plate.
Then I send him to Charlotte. Yes. Okay, that's fair. That's it.
If he's tearing the cover off the ball, then yeah, absolutely.
Force a hand or don't. And as a rookie, the onus is on the rookie to force the hand. And if he doesn't come out and have a big spring, not even a big spring, but you know what I'm saying? Like a spring where you're like, damn, we can't. It's
a KB spring when he hit like 9 home runs.
Yeah, and then they sent him down anyway for service time. But the Sox don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, I think, with this. So you just kind of earn the job, dude. And you want to stay up, earn it. I think that's a good thing for these guys, especially keep them hungry. I mean, chase the carrot a little bit, dangle it out there, let them come get it.
That's a better way to frame it. I think this is a very important spring training for him. And I think that's a better way to have this discussion rather than should he be the opening day or not. It should be depending on his spring training, should he be the opening day guy or not? Because this is a very big spring training for him. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the White Sox have signed 18,000 second basemen. So, Mitch, at least you'll have shit to write about all spring training because that competition is going to be fucking.
Well, it's a 4-man race, really. I don't think Eric Gonzalez really has a chance, if I'm being honest with you. We'll see. But I think Hanser Alberto definitely has a shot. I'd be surprised if he did. But like right now, if I had to put a bet down, Rami Gonzalez would be the guy I think has the inside track position for the job. Lenyn Sosa, he has the highest ceiling out of all of them. I think there's really some potential there offensively. It's just he doesn't have a whole lot of experience. And even in AAA, the numbers weren't great there. And defensively, he's the worst of the three because he's more of a third baseman.
That's where the whole there's no shift comes into play. You can't hide his ass and you can't protect. So whoever's playing second base now for your team, there's a lot more ground to cover. And that's where having a guy like Nico Horner playing second is amazing for you guys because having the defensive middle infield that the Cubs have put together is going to make this whole no shift thing nothing. Like that, it's not going to be a thing for the Cubs where this could be a huge issue for the fucking White Sox this year. Because they have a liability at second base.
And with Alberto, too, he's not on, it's a non-roster invite. So he's kind of like, I'm getting the job or bust with him. So I would not be surprised. He's the dark horse that I would say would probably be second. If I had to do my second base, likelihood of winning the job, Gonzalez would be first, Alberto second, Sosa third, and then Eric Gonzalez fourth. I don't think he has a
Make
job.
sure you go to Sports Mockery and read the article that Mitch just basically verbally wrote. So,
well, you forgot one name, Mitch. And this question is going to come off as a troll. It's not. It's a legitimate question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any chance opening day?
Nope.
That Larry Garcia is the second.
Yes. Yeah. He would probably be. Okay. I would put him ahead of Gonzalez, Eric Gonzalez in that depth chart, I guess. But no, I think they're actually going to use him the correct way.
The correct way, finally.
I think they're really trying
at second base enough.
I think they're really trying to go that way where they can use him correctly. I think that's the reason for all these second base pickups and all these minor leaguers and everything is because they're trying to actually not use him as an everyday second base. And Yumper, to answer your question here in the comments, he asks, which team makes the big acquisition at the deadline? That's a pretty loaded question to answer on February 2nd. You know what I mean? If the White Sox have a great first half of the season, I could see them getting aggressive. They got some guys at the end of contracts. They got, and same. You can pretty much say that for every team, though.
Kevin, you've seen what the Cubs have done. Even if the Cubs are good, Jed Hoyer still hasn't made a trade that's made the Cubs better on their MLB roster. All his trades so far have been marginal, fringe, bench types or selling off back in 2021. Yeah. So for the Cubs, I still have to see them making a big time trade
because the Cubs haven't. That's why it's so tough because, like you said, Hoyer really hasn't made that big impactful trade yet. But then you go to the flip side with the Sox. Last year, we thought at the deadline. Zoe, you were saying this is the most important deadline of Rick Hahn's career.
We did nothing.
Everyone thought they were going to do something, and they didn't.
He did absolutely nothing.
Jake Diekman, come on now.
That move panned out exactly like I thought it would. Just a very
that was where every Sox GM watching games was right. It was immediate. This guy sucks. Why did we trade for him?
This is Rick Hahn at the trade deadline. Period. It was Just
overwhelmed. I was definitely waiting for that joke there. Yeah, I was definitely waiting for a joke there.
I knew where you were
going. He sat on his thumbs, and it Jesus Christ, I've like buried that down in my brain, but he did nothing, absolutely nothing. So my confidence level is not very high that the White Sox would do anything after completely shitting the bed last year. But maybe they learned their lesson. Who knows? Yeah, I know.
Do you think there's? I mean, who would even be available in this case? But is there a scenario? Let's say the Sox stumble, they just look bad again or mediocre. Is there any guys they sell off?
Moncada.
If anyone wants them,
right? Yeah, I mean,
well, that's the other thing.
Bad year because he's kind of the X factor.
In that scenario, although that means that a lot of these guys are having shit seasons.
Yeah.
So
that's the other thing too.
TA would probably be the biggest piece.
Maybe like a Giolito if he's like okay.
Or TA or Giolito would probably.
Giolito I could see because he at least has the track record that Moncada doesn't. We've had one season of Moncada, and right now that's an outlier. Where Giolito, I think, put together enough.
I think Lucas is going to have a big year. I really do.
I think he's going to be good.
Well, that's why I'm still on the over for. But yeah, it's.
Yeah, and for the Cubs, by the way, I can see it this year, Kevin, where I think the Cubs can, even if they're looking decent, I think they can find a trade package if like Stroman is having a good season, where they can be like, yeah, we can still trade you, get something back because he's probably going to opt out after this year. And
that deal to me still doesn't make any sense if the Cubs didn't go for it the last few years. Like it was just one of those look we tried moves.
That was just
as it turns out, nobody else really wanted Stroman, and the Cubs sold it as like getting a diamond in the rough, and it really was just basically you could have him.
It was kind of
like when they have the banners of like all the players and like they need to sell some tickets, or like in that 1 year it was like Jason Giambi and like Johnny Damon, and they had to take them all down, and there's David Justice. That was the Cubs last year. Marcus.
I mean, yeah, that's
really was.
But that's the thing, because they can still like the Cubs played that with Stroman. We're like, if they were going to be good in any of these years, okay, he helps out. If they're not going to be good, and if he's okay, you can then trade him. So they kind of just, they half and halved it.
It was nuts though to hear Cub fans say that that's proof the Cubs are they're trying. Like his signing, it was just him and Suzuki basically, and then Simmons last year. And that's proof that they're trying. Like I just don't buy that is. I mean, if that's trying, then it's not really.
It was year one of their rebuild. It was Edwin Jackson, but better.
Yeah, and they
remember when the Cubs signed Edwin Jackson like in 2013 or something. That's what it was.
Edwin Jackson.
Oh god,
dude! I still remember Edwin Jackson.
15 different team legend.
Edwin Jackson. Yeah, I mean, yeah, both Cubs and Sox.
Is insane.
Yes.
The craziest no-hitter.
I think 14.
When he walked like 9 guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got an Edwin Jackson autograph when we went to Wrigley 1 year.
I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious, Fizz. I think it's 13 or 14 teams.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, no, it's
15. I'm pretty sure. I think he's at 15. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 looks like.
Oof.
Yeesh.
Good old Ajax. I still remember when I first started writing for Sports Mockery, Edwin Jackson was still on the Cubs, and it didn't make any sense because who the fuck cared at that time before the Cubs were good again. But I just had like this pent up like angst towards him. Like anything that he would do wrong, I would just jump all over him. He was late to a spring training game one time. I was like, "What is this idiot doing?"
I mean, he lost 18 games in a season. Like 18 games is a lot to lose in a season, no matter who you are, or no matter how bad your team is. That's some adversity, to say the least.
I mean, seriously, folks, go buy some shirts because Mitch really needs.
Yeah, Mitch is down bad right now.
Mitch is down real bad.
He lost 33 games in his 2 seasons as a Cub.
Oof.
That's a
bad team. That's a bad team.
It was 13 and 33. Whew.
All right.
A lot of runs. Jeez.
So
a lot of home runs. 34 homers too.
Another thing I want to talk about. So I put something on the Twitter machine today, and
you should learn your lessons though and never do that.
I know.
Is it the one about should you watch Cars or not, or is it that? No, different one.
But apparently, in lieu of the new cover athlete being announced for MLB The Show 23, which is Jazz Chisholm, that's awesome. It looks like it's going to be a really fun game.
Garcia. That's what I saw on Twitter.
Future sock.
I fired it up today and I found out you can download the 2005 roster. Somebody spent the time to create and do all the attributes and everything, attributes for every single player in Major League Baseball in 2005.
Damn.
And put them on their correct teams. And so I downloaded the roster, and of course I started a franchise with the White Sox right away. And I thought it was cool. I was like, oh, this is super neat. This is going to be fun. So I took a picture of the depth chart and I put up on Twitter. Here's the depth chart. Okay. Like literally he went and did everybody. The amount of people that commented, first of all, I didn't make this. So like people being like, why is this guy here? I don't fucking know. I don't know. Because some dude did it. But okay. The glaring things that are wrong, and I'm sorry for the people listening, we're going to get into but they have Sebi Zavala as the third catcher, and they have Zach Collins as the backup first baseman. Okay. Two glaring bad things. And pardon the picture, my windows were open. But
the sun was shining, though. It's nice.
The other, 30 degrees.
It lights up the room.
30 and sunny, baby.
The other thing that people were really mad about, and this is more what I want to talk about with you guys, is the rankings. So the first one being, if you look in the DH here, Frank Thomas is an 82. Now, for those of you not familiar with MLB The Show, a 99 is the highest you can be. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Frank Thomas is an 82. So this one guy was really pissed in my comments. Why is Frank Thomas an 82? One guy was I know Adam. Adam's a good dude. He was just like, that seems really low. But this other guy was like really, really mad about it. So I'm just going to say this. It's not just his hitting rankings. Rankings take speed, fielding, like everything else goes into the rankings. So he's very slow. And this is 2005 Frank Thomas. This isn't MVP season Frank Thomas. He's very slow and he's not a very good fielder. And that was the back injury year too. So if it makes anybody feel better, I hit an absolute nuke with him in the one game I played.
What's incredible, I think he had over 10 home runs that season, despite the few games he did play. I have to look it up, but like I remember looking, I was like, man, he had that many home runs. I don't remember playing any games with the White Sox that year.
And then people were mad about Joe Creedy's 79. Joe Creedy, I know everybody loves Joe Creedy, but 79 is pretty fair for Joe Creedy. I don't know. I thought these rankings were pretty good. Mark Burley's the highest at 96. Paul Konerko's a 91. I hit one to the concourse with Konerko. Juan Uribe being an 84. That one's a little bit debatable. Pasetnik's an 82, but the reason why Pasetnik's an 82 is because he's a 99 speed.
Yeah.
The other one people were mad about is Bobby Jenks being an 83.
He was a rookie, so you didn't know yet.
About right, though. If I'm being honest.
I think these rankings are pretty fucking accurate. And again, the fact that he went and somebody did this for every single team. Like, do you know how much time that would take?
And you're right, Mitch. Frank Thomas, 2005, hit 12 home runs in 34 games.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, that was.
He would have out hit a lot of the White Sox last year. He probably would have been. Fourth.
2004. In 2004, he hit 18 in 74 games.
Yeah, I mean, Frank Thomas can hit, man.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is.
And I was gonna say,
whoa, time out. No, I don't know if this is a troll or what, but in the comments, a new listener show where you're always welcome, bud. But if you're gonna put comments like that, we're gonna talk about it. Commented, White Sox should sign Trevor Bauer.
He would be cheap.
I can tell you right now, it's not gonna happen. Especially with the shit that's going on with Mike Clevenger, they're not gonna be like, oh yeah, we're gonna sign this guy too.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
The giggle at the end of that always makes me laugh. just the PR optics alone of that.
Yeah.
The White Sox front office is dumb. I don't think they're that dumb.
It'll never happen. Even if the Clevenger stuff never existed, I still don't think that would have happened. But now, especially because of the Clevenger stuff, it definitely won't happen. Like snowball's chance in hell.
I think we brought it up right after the news happened that his suspended was reduced. Trevor Bowers. I think we talked about it a little bit then. But so now a few weeks have passed. Do you think he gets signed by a team? There hasn't been anything.
I would say no.
So again, I'm going to file this under never say never, but there could be a team that loses 2 starters in spring training. And
maybe. Yeah.
They got to sign a guy, and there's Trevor Bauer for you. If that doesn't happen, maybe he goes and pitches a year in Japan or some shit like that. And I know there's this, of course, Cardinals fans want him bad. That would be too perfect. I know there's this whole contingent of people that are saying like he wasn't tried, but there's still the photos, there's still the stories, there's still all this other stuff. Like, if a team signs him, it's not going to be a good time, man. And you got to imagine these teams, especially in the day and age we live in now, that I just don't think the juice is worth the squeeze for a lot of these teams. And if it was, like Aldo said, I really think he would have been signed by now. But me personally, I just think he's a massive douchebag. Massive douchebag.
I think you're right in where I think he goes. I think he plays overseas somewhere, either if it's like the KBO or in Japan, China, I don't know. And then if there's like injuries mid-season or something, or maybe it's until next year, because whatever you want to say about the guy, whatever happened or did not happen, personality-wise, if a guy performs.
Right.
I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's some teams are going to say maybe the juice is worth a squeeze.
As the old saying, boys will be boys if you have a sub-3 ERA.
I mean, the Kansas City Royals would be a team that I would not. I don't know why.
Because it's Missouri. Sorry, Mitch.
Mitch is now home state.
Cardinals.
We're surrounded by Cardinal fans. I mean, that's one of the teams we have to cover for our station. So
big Bauer fans there. Big Bauer fans in that state.
Like just a good old Midwest team being like, yeah, sure, we'll give you a second chance. Everybody deserves a second chance, right?
I've seen what Yumper's talking about in the comments. I've seen Cardinals fans being like, well, that's it. He was innocent. Go get him for $750K and blah, blah.
But I don't think this season. I'll say I don't think he signs before the season begins.
That is a brutal signing for any team anywhere. Like even the Oakland A's couldn't bury this.
I feel like that takes like a year of optics washing to like even make it palatable for pretty much anybody outside of Missouri. So I think that's a huge like undertaking for any franchise that would consider that. You've got to basically spend an entire year slowly planting little seeds to
people need to forget about you. No, they need to forget about you.
And he'd have to stay, of course, completely silent. In that he ain't gonna do that. So
that's the thing. He's
no, he won't. He'll have his YouTube channel.
He still has a YouTube channel. He still has all this.
He's gonna see himself as a redemption story coming back. I beat the system when the system tried to hold me down.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be a horrible distraction for any team that signs that guy. He's a turd. He's a turd nugget. The difference between him and a bucket of turds is the bucket, period. And so nobody really wants that guy around in their clubhouse. And you're gonna have to really spend a lot of time wiping the anus of public relations and marketing to make that palatable for anybody for a while or maybe ever.
I can already, you know what? By July, I can see this headline by fucking Phil Rogers, who tried to do an Addison Russell redemption arc somehow.
Yeah.
I can see, like, in July, Phil Rogers being like, Trevor Bauer deserves a second chance in MLB. I can see that happening. from fucking Phil Rogers.
I'm seeing that shit already in like the replies and tweets and shit. Like he wasn't found guilty, dude.
And the thing is, Bauer has no interest in saying the right things either to help put this behind him. Like if he was smart, he'd say, look, whatever has happened, I was out of line. I should, I need to learn my lesson in things that have happened. I feel like I've paid my dues and I understand and I'm listening. And he could, there's so many things. If he had good representation, they would just like pull him back and be like, these are what you say. Here's your script. You need to read this script for the next 6 to 8 months and you'll be back. And he won't do it. He just won't.
He's a massive deuce canoe and
he
won't.
There was a reason he was suspended as long as he was. If he was innocent, he would not have received such a long suspension. And the Dodgers, who were in the middle of a World Series run, they're contending for one. Maybe they would have brought him back sooner if they thought he was innocent.
We talked about it last week too. People that say, well, he wasn't found guilty. Tony Accardo, the Chicago Outfits boss for the better part of 5 decades, ordered, he's the guy that literally was called Joe Batters, who beat a man to death with a baseball bat during a meeting that you saw in the movie The Untouchables. They gave it to Al Capone, but in real life, it was Tony Accardo. Tony Accardo never spent a night in jail. Does that mean he's innocent because he was never convicted of anything? No, we know. So like that, if you're found anything. Right, absolutely. And so this is where and I'm sure the people that think the Bauer is innocent don't think OJ is innocent, which is ironic, I guess, in a weird way. So it's you got to understand that I feel sorry for any team that takes it. Actually, I don't feel sorry for any team that I feel sorry for their fan base because that's going to be, you're right though. It's going to happen. Someone will.
I think it's going to be, because the other thing is like, he hasn't pitched in 2 years.
So
like I think he's going to spend this season overseas. Like maybe he'll probably do good. Cause or he'll be at least good enough where some team will be like, all right, sure, it's been a year now since the suspension was up. Let's bring him in.
Yeah, karma would be him just sucking ass and then it's settling itself because of the baseball god said,
yeah. Pitching to Aaron Judge is a little bit different than pitching to the king of JUCO on TikTok. You know what I mean? Like, so I think he goes. I think he plays a year of Mexican ball or Japanese baseball or something.
KBO.
Teams up with Puig and Russell.
Yeah.
He got. No, I guess his agent finally fired. I guess Rachel, what her name, fired Puig. Did she?
Yeah. After the gambling thing.
Oh wait, no. Let's get back to some happy stuff. Well, maybe not. What do you think? Well, you like him though. You've always liked him, but you thought it was going to be your guy Julio Rodriguez on the cover.
Yep.
And I think once they kind of teased it, everybody kind of knew it was going to be Jazz. But what were your thoughts on Jazz? Does he have that star label? You think? Is he deserving? I saw a lot of talk about that.
So,
is he deserving?
First of all, it's very disheartening to see how many grown men are putting this much stock into a cover of a video game. Like people are like legit pissed. It's like, first of all, the cover, you start the game, the cover athlete pops up, you're like pounding the X button the whole time just to get past it.
Give it to the fucking menu.
And then you just get into the game. So I don't understand why people are so upset about it. Second of all, Jazz is fun, dude. Jazz is a perfect cover athlete for a video game. He's young, he's energetic, he's fun. He's got this Bahamas background and, it's bright and colorful and he gives a lot back to the game. And like the introduction video, they had someone playing like loud music on a jukebox and like people are dancing. He's got the Euro step celebration. Like he's fun, dude. It's fun. It's a fucking video game. It's fun, dude. Like Mike Trout is boring. Like you could put Mike Trout on the cover and it's just like, cool. Like, he's good.
Wearing an Eagles beanie.
Sandwich in an Eagles jersey.
But you could have the 3 guys that I thought could have been the cover: Jazz, Julio, or what's the rookie for the Astros that had a hell of a postseason?
Jeremy Pena.
Those are 3 guys that would have been great for covers. Young, grow the game, fun guys, play with a lot of energy, good baseball players. But I like how they did it with Jazz, with the bright colors and the graffiti and like all this stuff. Like it's giving life to this game, and I'm all about it. And again, It's just the cover. The big news is that it's coming out way earlier than usual this year.
Okay.
Usually it's like beginning of April. It's coming out in March. You can start pre-orders like this week. It's awesome. Tomorrow we get the second cover. So Jazz is the cover athlete for the standard version of the game, and then they always have the Legends edition. So we get the Legends edition revealed tomorrow. There's, like last year, a lot of people think it's Jeter.
I saw one that said it was Hank Aaron, and
that was I know the one you're talking about. That was a dude just doing. There's a lot of people that do concept art for this shit, and he just
that one
did
was
it.
Pretty sick. Though. If it was Hank Aaron, that'd be pretty
and
sick.
The thing is, they love Hank Aaron in the game. Hank Aaron's got a card every year. They already have the rights to his likeness and everything. So Derek Jeter's never been in the game.
Oh.
So
I'm Derek Jetered out. I see him in too many commercials. Had enough.
Don't even get me started about Derek Jeter. Fucking overrated, dude. So overrated.
How do you really feel?
He's just not good at defense. I don't understand how someone can be considered the greatest shortstop of all time and not be good at defense. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, I'm obviously, as soon as the pre-orders are available, I'm going to get it. The deluxe edition, because I'm an idiot. And yeah.
I do want to say, I think Yumper or Svo, or maybe Yumper and Svo, they were trying to get together an actual MLB The Show league through like.
I'm all about that action, but my problem is when getting into leagues like that is I can only play at certain times.
Yeah.
So
we do have to get our draft ready, though. That's coming.
That's right.
soon.
I got an email notification the other day.
So are we doing fantasy baseball?
Oh yeah, we'll do a draft while we're on the show, just like we did last time and the time before.
Mitch, you're in this year, bud. Whether
That's
you like
right.
it or not, you got to be in the league.
Or 8. Are we gonna do 12 spots? 12 spots.
It's got to be 12.
Yeah, so 8 spots up for grab.
Yep. And this year we have a merch store, so we can actually give something to the winner.
There you go.
Sure. Your name on
get
it.
a brand new NASCAR Mitch shirt. Or maybe a shirt you'd actually want. That'd probably be the loser's punishment.
And a fanny pack and a tailgate satchel.
Tailgate. 6-pack satchel.
Yep.
Very easy to make any of those types of shirts. For the loser and
we'll make a fantasy champion shirt and all that stuff, but Yumper, you're in, bud.
I don't know about that guy.
Yeah, so we'll figure that out, but that's something to look forward to too. Mitch, you big start of the season, bud. Are you ready for the first official season NASCAR minute with NASCAR Mitch?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the season starts this Sunday, so really next week.
So this is your big preview, dude.
This is a big preview.
Oh yeah. All right.
From the first time live from Missouri, NASCAR Minute with NASCAR Mitch.
I'll do the dumbed down version of the storylines. The biggest storyline heading into the season is that Zoe's guy, well, he's only Zoe's guy because of the Busch Light cars. Kevin Harvick, he's retiring. Farewell tour. We'll see how he does. I think he'll be decent. We'll see. His car caught on fire in the playoffs, kind of cut his round short. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch, who had the iconic M&M scheme. Even if you don't like NASCAR, everyone knows what the M&M's car looks like. You've seen the jacket behind home plate. This is the first year M&M's will not be a sponsor. So because of that, he had to switch teams. So Skittles? He has now, no, Skittles is out. Mars Candy is out. So now he's being sponsored by like BetMGM, 3Chi. Everyone wants to go like the new like candy car with edibles or whatever, but we'll see. So he's on an entirely new team, new sponsor. It's going to suck. I mean, Kyle Busch is already, no one likes him to begin with now. And now he doesn't have the M&M's car. Sorry, Alex, but it's true. It's going to suck. The new car this year, they brought it in last year. It had some safety issues. They claim they fixed it. I guess the true test will be at Daytona. People have died at Daytona. Fingers crossed, nothing happens this year.
Jesus,
we shall see.
Yeah, well, and you put up a brave.
Just throw that in there. People have died there.
It's true. Well, like last year, like they were getting injuries. Like people were out for like concussions, which like usually never happens. So the car put on some good races. Little dangerous. We'll see if they fix the safety concerns. Also, they made some new rules. Some of them I like, some of them I don't. So NASCAR now, if you win, you're in the playoffs. Doesn't like when you're in. unless you're outside the top 30. Now anyone can get in, even if you're outside the top 30, if you win a race, which I'll be honest, not a huge fan of that rule. But the big one, road courses. They used to break them up into stages. So with a road course, when you break it up into a stage and they reset, like you're kind of screwed if you like go for stage points. So now they're getting rid of the stages. I know you guys don't know what that means, but trust me, it's a big deal. It'll improve the road course.
This is literally my face when you describe this.
Yeah.
This is me calling for help.
Yeah.
And then the last big couple things, they got 3 huge races this year. Highlight starting off Clash at the Coliseum. I was at that race last year. This was before I became like a big NASCAR fan. It was honestly one of the coolest sporting events I've ever been to. Racing in the Coliseum, come on, can't beat that. And then Pitbull had a concert. Then they have in the Chicago Street Course race.
And then Pitbull had a concert.
Yeah, no. Pitbull and Ice Cube performed in the middle of the race. It was great. You couldn't beat it. Then they got the Chicago Street Course. They announced their lineup too of concerts. Not that good. I mean, they got the Black Crows, I guess, if you're into that.
Whoa.
Easy there.
Especially since you just hyped up Pitbull. You're not going to follow up.
No, how do you not like Pitbull? Mr. Worldwide.
The Black Crows.
I mean, 10 years ago, Black Crows, absolutely. I mean, but if that's your headliner, well, who else do they got? Imagine Dragons, I think. Who else is on there?
Again, easy, careful. You're tread lightly. You got two different.
I'm not going to stop you from trashing Imagine Dragons, but Black Crows.
Yeah,
another Bonanza product. Dan Reynolds, another Bonanza product.
There was a heated debate in the NASCAR chat about this. And then the last race is at North Wilkesboro. It's at like some dumpy ass track that everyone's like, oh, it's so historic. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But yeah, so there's your 3 big tracks. Well, it's a stupid track. They left it for a reason. Because it sucked. The racing there stunk. And they tried to bring it back because like Dale Earnhardt Jr. was like, oh, it's an iconic track. We're going to bring it back. So they had like a late mod race there. And it was terrible. Like you couldn't get in and out from traffic. There's some grandstands there. There's like a porta potty for the bathroom. And he's like, wow, this really brought a tear to my eye. It was like back in the good old days. It's like, all right.
Probably got a sick Hummer in that porta john.
Yeah. Where is it?
I actually agree with the comments, Mitch. I would pay money to watch you dancing at a Pitbull concert.
You know what? If Daniel Suarez wins the Daytona 500, I will put on Pitbull live on the show and I will dance the next episode.
I know who I'm rooting for now.
Okay.
I know who I'm rooting for. Oh my God, the whiteness level is going to be off the charts. It's going to be whiter.
Oh, it's going to be bad. Yeah. It won't be pretty.
Oh my God.
That's your NASCAR minute. Next week it's really going to bring the heat. You'll get the good stuff back. We've been
It definitely played you off the stage.
Wait, Mitch, what area code are you in Missouri now?
6. I really should know this. Hold up.
What do you think about? I found a picture of Pitbull, by the way.
That's 65270. I'm close to Columbia.
Area code.
Area code. My bad. 816, I believe.
816 shirt idea. Pitbull is Mr. 305. Mitch.
It's Mr. 816.
Mr. 816. Somebody do a sketch of Mitch looking like Pitbull, and then
there we go.
We can do Mr. 816.
See, go buy a shirt, Andy.
There you go.
Buddy. All right, fellas, you got anything else?
Oh, well, Kevin brought it up in the chat. Shout out Cubs legend Dexter Fowler, retired.
Oh, yeah.
2016 World Series champ, joining the Marquee Sports Network now as an analyst.
Good for him.
He's now one of like 7,000 analysts on Marquee Sports Network.
Yep.
Good for him.
But hey, nice little retirement parachute.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure he's not getting Tom Brady money, that $375 million he got for broadcasting, but that's crazy. Did you see that number? Brady made $333 million as an NFL player, and then he signed a contract to broadcast for $375.
Well, he's gonna need it after the FTX thing.
Right. Oh yeah. That plus alimony and shit. Woo, girl.
Man, breaking up your marriage for to get blown out by the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, breaking up your marriage.
She makes more money than him, though. I think she makes more money.
Yeah,
he probably collects alimony.
Oh, he's going to be collecting alimony himself. He's out of work.
Yeah.
She's not.
But yeah, shout out Dexter Fowler.
Yeah.
He was definitely a all-time you go we go guy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, 2016, how he showed up at the day of camp, first day of camp, just surprised the whole. I mean, that was one of those tone-setting moments of that magical 2016 season. Was that moment? That's where you knew something special was already on the way, and the Cubs just it was a stroke of genius the way they did it, and obviously he's well liked. I don't think you have a person in the league that'll say a bad thing about Dexter Fowler. Like, seriously, everybody likes Dex. I mean, he's Dex, and so. I mean, he's nice to everybody. I mean, in the weird world of things, Shreve, who's a pitcher, those guys are friends. Like he's just nice to everybody. He's a good person. So it'll be fun to watch. I mean, that's probably one of the more enjoyable parts about, I think, Marquee Network will be watching him, just because 2 years and you feel like he's like a lifelong Cub.
Well, he's another guy. Big smile, always good for the game, great locker room guy. I hated seeing him in St. Louis and hated even more hearing the stories about how fans were treating him and his family.
Missouri.
Before John Heyman reported John Heyman reported Aaron Judge to the Giants this past offseason, or all the Correa shit that happened.
Arson Judge.
Judge. Mike Judge. It's Mike Judge.
Dexter Fowler back in 2016, that offseason, Buster Olney, either like a week or a couple weeks before, reported Dexter Fowler signing a 3-year deal with the Baltimore Orioles. And then we didn't hear anything for like a week, and we're like, fuck, that sucks. The Cubs need a center fielder. They need a leadoff man. And like you said, Kevin, he just shows up at Sloan Park. He's back. The vibes were on from that point on. What a magical season. And the Cubs leadoff man haven't been the same ever since. They're still looking for a leadoff guy.
So yeah, they haven't found it since.
That was a pretty cool baseball moment, though, for him to just show up to spring training. And then the image of everyone standing around the pitcher's mound and him walking up and like hugging everybody and all that shit. That was pretty cool from just a baseball fan standpoint. That was
Game 7 homer. I mean,
yep.
Oh, dude, I saw a video of like it's just the reaction just from the stands in Cleveland. You literally would have thought it was at Wrigley Field. How loud it was.
Something else, man. Something else.
I mean,
good times.
And then
you're scratching like I need more.
Gotta do it.
By the way, I got the list for the people. All right. Just for the sake of wrapping up the NASCAR bit here. These are the people performing in Chicago. So for a non-NASCAR fan, let me know if this would be enough for you to check it out. They get the Chainsmokers, Miranda Lambert, the Black Rose, and Charlie Crockett. That's not a good lineup.
Toad the Wet Sprocket?
No, he doesn't know who that is, Fitz.
Oh,
who's the last one? Charlie Crockett?
Yeah.
Charlie Crockett. Who the?
Miranda Lambert's not terrible. And if you're bored on Twitter, search Miranda Lambert dump truck.
Oh, man. Dude looks like he's shooting on tin cans.
But
I'm just a clown. He's new, huh? Ish.
I don't know that guy, but I'd go see the Black Crows, but end of list there.
They're playing here in a couple weeks.
Yeah. But also, I have another point.
This Padres pitch is shitting bricks right now. Why? Because Danny fucking Burgess is up and back. Guy just ordered Shake Shack straight to the dugout.
I wish that was our video. We would make a he's ordering Shake Shack straight to the dugout shirt. So
Looking
fast.
back at that video, he has such an athletic looking batting stance too. And it's just hilarious because obviously he's a big dude.
Yeah, I said like MLB or somebody did something where they followed him around for a day. He's very well dressed, very stylish guy. Like people like him. He's very personable. Like he's a good dude. Danny fucking Burgers.
Cubs legend.
Did you guys see that Game Day MLB? I don't know who that is. That's a pretty 10,000 followers. Top 10 worst stadiums in the MLB.
No, that account sucks. That
White Sox.
Those are the guys that
rate at 4.
Those are the guy. Well, first of all, he calls it guaranteed rate something. He says, yeah. And second of all, that's the guy that ripped Soxwood's artwork and didn't give him any credit.
Same account too. That's the one that used the Lurie.
Yeah, that's Game Day. So fuck that guy.
Stop following Game Day. Follow Pinwheels and Ivy podcast.
Subscribe
on YouTube.
Subscribe. I mean, and buy a shirt because this is like getting ridiculous with Mitch. This
buy a shirt to save Mitch's internet
dropped.
Oh, again.
I mean,
spring training games 3 weeks away, guys.
3 weeks away, fellas. And to remind everything, to wrap everybody up here, we have the subscription. If we get to 1,000 subscribers by opening day, we're giving away good White Sox and Cubs tickets. Dealer's choice there.
Get excited about it. Wow, that is really comes in really hot.
That's really loud. We have
there it is.
A new store. Go buy merch, and if I see you in the wild wearing a Pinwheels and Ivy tailgate satchel, automatic 3 free drinks from me. I think that's about it for right now. Oh, if you guys aren't doing anything on Monday, I'm gonna be on the Au Jus with Beef Loaf.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Talking about vibes.
Nice. We got Brewhan Luke's coming on the Tainted Glove this week too. If you like beer stuff.
Beer stuff.
Your stuff, and we're gonna talk about
Beef Loaf when he knows about cattle reports.
Wait, Zoe, give us a little tease. Who's one guy that you're gonna take fans are gonna be surprised about? You don't have to say.
No, I mean, I feel like this team right now, players are giving off a lot of different vibes. And Beef wrote his article about it, and that's what started this whole thing. Because you guys do the show with me every week. You know I'm a big vibe guy, and so that's why I think he reached out for me to be on the show this week. But like right now, I'm getting very good vibes off of like a Lucas Giolito. Like the vibes are high with him right now, and big comeback vibes from like Yasmani Grandal. And just stuff like that. We're going to go into stuff. There's not too many guys on this team that I'd say I get. Like Clevenger's obviously just garbage. Front office, bad vibes coming from the front office.
Joe Kelly.
You know what? Not great. Not getting a great feeling off him this year. Especially don't like the way his book's coming across.
Okay.
It's really, really fucking whiny.
Okay.
Did you read the book?
No.
It doesn't even have pictures. What the hell is this?
That's the funniest thing you've said on the show.
Was it a pop-up book?
I mean, you can't judge the man's book.
Joe Kelly has a book? What?
Yeah, I read I saw the transcripts. Like,
is it ghostwritten? What the hell?
It does sound pretty whiny for what he's describing. It's a whole lot of
there's like
about the
the second half of the book. From what the review I read, the second half of the book is just him crying about the Astros.
Yeah,
like that's like the whole like second like. They're like the first 5 chapters are about life in baseball and adversity he took on, and then like the last like 6 chapters are just him bitching about the Astros.
See, that needed to come out like in 2020.
Yeah.
Like they won it. They won it. They're the real deal, guys. Like it sucks. Yeah, they cheated, but so is everybody else, and they still won.
Yeah, and they fucking played very good baseball this last year. Like that was really the only way they can really kill that narrative.
Yeah,
was by doing what they did last year.
And they did.
And I mean,
and they did, yeah.
That Pena, the rookie they got, that kid's going to be the truth for a long time. So the fact that they are able to just seamlessly move away from a Carlos Correa into this rookie that's just lights out, so. All right, Mitch, fuck, dude. Just save your data, dude. Just kill your internet. We're done this week. So for Mitch, Fids, that's all though. I'm Zoe. Subscribe, and then subscribe again. We'll see you guys next week when Mitch has internet.
Buy a fanny pack of beers.